Just your frustration, disappointment, and overcoming a 42-14 deficit, and then losing it at the end. I mean, what are your feelings right now?
Well, my feelings are you can't turn the ball over and expect to win games. We threw 5 interceptions and had a fumble, 6 turnovers. They stopped us 8 times, okay? And we were able to fight back, take the lead twice in the second half. You know, I thought that, you know, we did a pretty good job of managing it in the second half to put us back in a position to win. Our effort in the second half was outstanding, you know, by our defense. And then it comes down to game on the line, and you know, we throw 2 straight picks. So, you know, I don't want to take anything away from NAZ, and I certainly don't want to take anything away from our players' effort. I mean, a lot of teams would have packed it in. When you're in the playoffs, it's about who's the best team on that day. It has nothing to do with regular season. And we were sitting in the same situation we were last year. We had the ball down 1 point with a chance to drive down, at least come away, you know, with a field goal. We mishandled the kickoff, got stuck on the 1 yard line, and you know, we didn't do a good job of executing. But you know, when you look at, you know, our defense, you know, Bowman was a one-man show. He had 8 catches, 158 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Ware, the running back, you know, had 4 catches. One was one down the wall for a touchdown. Augustine had 3 catches for 27 yards, and number 10, who had a great game last week, didn't even have a catch. Okay, when you look at our offense and you just look at how our passing game was, and they did a great job of zoning us and making Drew try to read it. And you know, our leading receiver tonight was Gardner, our running back, 5 catches, 60 yards. Jamal Miles had 2 catches for 10 yards. Houston had 1 catch for 10 yards. So it was a pretty pathetic, you know, offense tonight, execution. And, you know, I thought we ran the ball well at times. You know, I think we had over 100 yards rushing. We did, but the passing game is what got us beat.
So, Coach, during that 33-0 run, what kind of changed? What did you see that was different that allowed you to go from 42-14 down to 47-42 ahead?
Well, you know, one, it was execution and our effort. You know, we were playing with some passion out there, some energy, and you know, it's like the old saying, everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the mouth. And, you know, I felt like, you know, I came in at halftime and said, look, they put a great first half together. We could certainly come out and put a great second half together and get right back in the ball game. I've been in these situations, you know, before, you know, way earlier in my career. And, you know, it was, you know, we just need to turn up our pressure. And, you know, we threw some zone at them, and it messed their quarterback up. And we were able to get some stops. And they had a bad snap that went for a touchdown. You know, we get an interception, momentum's going our way. And then, you know, at that last touchdown, not the last touchdown, but the one before the last, you know, we had 2 DBs laying on the ground. Looked like, to me, I have to see the film, but it looked like there was some illegal picks that were going on down the field, you know, on that 4th down. It was 4. I mean, we get the stop right there, it's game over, okay? And, you know, we have a defensive penalty that went from 4th and 10 down to 4th and 5. And then, you know, we give the touchdown, and it looked like those receivers, you know, tried to run and pick us. But that wasn't the reason why we lost the game. We lost the game because we turned the ball over.
Drew Powell, clearly one of the best regular season quarterbacks the IFL has ever seen, but back-to-back postseason struggles last year and this year. Where's your confidence in him right now?
Well, I'm going to see the tape. I mean, you know, listen, we win together, we lose together as a team. I'm not going to point fingers. But, you know, at the end of the day, we got to play better, and we got to execute better. And, you know, I said all week there was no way they were going to try to play us man. They came in here and played us man. Last week we had 31 snaps on offense. We were scoring at will. And, you know, I talked to the team all week, said, look, they're going to play zone. They're going to drop their defensive ends. They're going to try to rush 2. You know, drop 6, you know, and rush 3, drop 5, you know, give us different looks. And And you know, and when they do that, you got to go to your three-step game. You got to run the football, and and then you have to take off running with the football, you know, as a quarterback to kind of balance the scales there. And we just didn't. We didn't do that early in the game. We didn't do it early in the game. You know, we were calling plays and tagging it with QB draw. So if they dropped, all we had to do was, you know, run the ball. But you know, the way they were playing their zones, you know, they were giving us the walls, and you know, we missed a few opportunities to complete some balls on the wall. So, you know, it's going to be a long off season again. Very frustrated because I really felt like this team could win a championship. We just played a horrific first half, and you know, when we made the run, I said to myself, you know, hey, we've had a lot of adversity this year. I thought that, you know, it showed that we could overcome adversity. But again, once we got the lead, it was time to seal the deal, and you know, we didn't finish the game.
I'm sure when you're calling plays, you're probably looking at coverage more, but so I don't know if this is a film question, but seemed like a little more pressure on Drew than normal. How'd your line play?
You know, that's a good question. I won't know until I see the tape. I mean, he certainly got some pressure, and we'll have to look at that. But you know, they got a good defensive front. The strength of their team is their defensive front. You know, Artis was defensive MVP of the league last year. You know, we knew when they brought Theo didn't play last week. Theo Majetti, who played for us last year, we knew he had a motor. He didn't play last week. He played this week, and you know, I told him the matchups are going to be different. And you know, there's no 2, 3, 4 games alike. You know, they're all different. So you know, we knew going into this game with Theo sitting out and Bowman sitting out last week that the matchups were going to be different. And you know, we had a good plan for Bowman when they got in certain formations, but they killed us in 2-by-2 tonight.
Coach, at the critical time in the game, what was your feeling on that mimicking call? Because at that point, the arena itself was just loud, and I don't know how a ref could make that call down on the field.
Mimicking? I'm sorry, I don't.
The defense was mimicking the quarterback's cadence. You got that penalty late in the
delay of game before it was lost.
Okay, I just heard delay of game. I didn't hear what it was about.
I said it was mimicking the cadence.
That was on the 4th down?
Yes.
Mimicking the cadence. Okay, that's news to me. I couldn't hear them. I mean, it's hard for me to hear down on the field. You guys hear a lot more than I do when it comes to the refs. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you can't do that if that's what was happening. You know, my thing is, it's went on with us the whole year, and when we complained about it, they always said they couldn't hear it. So it's amazing they can hear it tonight. So you know, it's the first time I've seen it called this year. What was the penalties tonight?
When you were down 20 at halftime, what was the message in the locker room? Because it was borderline a completely different team coming into that second half.
Well, you know, they had an outstanding first half. I told them we just need to put the same kind of half together. And, you know, I thought our defense came out and really matched that. You know, offensively, you know, we came out in the second half, and we just went touchdown, 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 touchdown. So, you know, we got on a roll until the last 2 possessions of the game, when the game meant something. And, you know, we turned it over 2 more times. And it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating because, you know, I feel like our staff has put championship teams together the last 2 or 3 years. And, you know, turnovers has cost us in the playoff games. You know, but this first half is probably the worst that I've seen, you know, since being here with the Rattlers of just how we played. And you know, I thought when we got to the locker room, I thought the coaches did a good job of sitting down. You know, we talked through what they were doing, made some adjustments. It seemed to be working, but I think the big thing was we started playing with some energy. We started playing with some passion and executing. And you know, and that's I mean, listen, when you turn the ball over that many times, it's going to knock the wind out of you a little bit. And you can coach against it all you want, but again, it's like being in a fight. You get punched in the mouth, and all of a sudden, but then we came back. And I felt like we fought, and I want to give our players a lot of credit for getting back in the game. There was a lot of teams that would have packed it in, and I thought our fan base was great. They gave us some energy, in the building, but it's hard to swallow when you turn the ball over that many times. And look, we're not going to put it on one person. I mean, I'm sure it's easy to sit here and blame Drew, but there was some pressure at times. We got to be able to beat zone coverage, and I need to look at I just need to see the film. It was difficult. They had so many guys dropping. It was kind of difficult to really pick up on, but at times, and our iPads didn't work in the building the whole year this year. Not for us, not for the visiting team. So it was hard, it's hard to make adjustments when you don't have that video to look at. And, you really all year long we've been relying on my experience, Jeff Journey's experience, Aya Burley's experience, just seeing the game with our eyes and making the adjustment. And that's something we're going to have to look at in off season too. Is they didn't have it either, so that's not a reason we lost. But it's just frustrating that we have this iPad replay on the sidelines and you can't use it. So.
Were you thinking of pulling through it all at any point? And just give that chance to take a step back and do you just feel he was your best bet the whole game?
No, I thought he was the best bet. I mean, listen, what were we down at halftime? 34-14. It was 20 points. I mean, that's easy to overcome in this game. And you just need to make a couple plays, get change of possession. I felt like he gave us the best opportunity to win, and I thought we had it won all the way down to those last two possessions when we made a run in the second half. I really felt good about how we were going to finish, and I was kind of, in a way, I was kind of happy. Like, hey, we're in the same position we were last year. Okay, let's go out here, and I can't tell you how many times we worked that situation this year in practice, and and gave our offense a lot of different looks in situational football, and it's just it really is frustrating to get back in that same situation and we can't execute.
That final kickoff that put you at the half-yard line led to the interception. What happened there? It looked like hesitation. It was a good kick that kind of put you in the coffin corner, but is that just what do you do?
Well, I thought when Miles picked it up, if he would have just went right down the wall, we would have got out to about the 10. But I don't know why he looked to go back across the field. There was only seconds on the field, seconds on the clock. And when that happens, it's best just to go straight ahead, get what you can get. Let's get out of the end zone so we're not backed up. But again. We didn't execute when the game was on the line, and it's very, 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 very frustrating. And we're going to have to make some tough decisions this offseason and really look at the organization. This organization expects to compete for championships, and I'm certainly at a point in my career where I certainly expected every year that when we put a roster together that we're going to be good enough to win it. And last 3 years or so, we've had our opportunities, and they just all these losses seem to be last second, down to the last drive, down to the last play, and we certainly I'm gonna have to look in the mirror and figure out how are we gonna get better in these situations. I mean, we practice these situations all the time, so I mean I can't put 10,000-12,000 people out at practice. And I mean, all we can do is give you the defenses that you're going to see, and hope that these guys are going to be dialed in. But it's frustrating for sure. Okay, guys. All right. Enjoy your off season.